Hey, what is up guys? This is Lemillion Nation coming to you again with another video. Now, thank you so much for tuning in. So, what I'm gonna do for this video is I'm gonna delve into the fate of Best Jeanist. Now, guys, now before we progress, if you don't want any spoilers, if you don't want anything to ruin what you've not seen in My Hero Academia so far, just try and hit on one of my other videos for the time being, and then you can come back and always watch this one. Alright guys, so let's get into the video. Now we start off by going into a plane, and this plane that we see is flying towards the location where Gigantamakia is going to pass through, and inside the plane we see a female and another slender figure, and we see some cable. So this female is talking to the slender figure and saying, hey, look, I'm going as fast as I can. I'm not Hawks, or I'm not someone who can move faster than this. I'm traveling as fast as I can. And the person who was like, as the slender figure who was there, he was saying, hurry up, hurry up, hurry up. You said you'd be there in 5 minutes time. Hurry. Like, the person knows that every second they spend in the air is another second where someone's life could be lost, because they're heroes. They're trying their best in order to save lives, preserve lives. So let's go into a flashback. The flashback that we're going into is the point where Hawks was talking to Best Jeanist and says, don't let someone's resolve go to waste. Now we know that Hawks infiltrated the villains. He infiltrated the ranks of the villains in order to try to get information and spy on them, and like Dabi never believed anything that he was saying from the get-go. Dabi even said as much. But what Hawks did was, I think he definitely got a body. I don't know whether he killed someone really, or he probably just got a body that died, someone who died from before, and then gave it to the villains and let it seem like it was Best Jeanist. But Hawks was talking and took out his sword while he was talking to Best Jeanist, like he was saying, like, look, don't let someone's resolve go to waste. Like, he was probably about to kill Best Jeanist, or maybe he didn't kill Best Jeanist. Maybe Best Jeanist was in hiding for a couple months, And while Best Jeanist was in hiding like that, that's the time when Hawks would actually infiltrate the villains and get all the information that he would need. Like, the villains weren't tracking Hawks at that time, or like spying on him at that time. Like, they weren't doing that at that time. So he would be able to freely do what he needed to do in order to like trick the villains. So I believe that what happened to Best Jeanist was that he wasn't killed, because the person looked amazingly similar to Best Jeanist. Best Jeanist can actually style person's hair and their fibers. He can style fibers in any way that he would want, So when he styles the fibers like that, he would be able to get anyone to look like him or close to him as close to him as humanly possible. So he'll be able to trick the villains like that. I remember we weren't seeing Best Jeanist any at all. It looked like as if Best Jeanist had actually died. So where we can go from here is that we'll be looking on how would Best Jeanist actually really be a benefit to this war right now. Because those cables, any fibers any at all that Best Jeanist actually has, any fibers any at all, no matter how thick, no matter how long, no matter how big, he has mastery over it. So he could manipulate those fibers in order to hold down Gigantamakia. Because like we see that fibers like that can actually use to be held, can be used to hold up towers in such a way that like nobody can really nobody can really break those fibers like that. And even though Gigantamakia is so large, even he would have some trouble to break free from that. So what Best Jeanist could do is hold on Gigantamakia for a few minutes or so, and I'm not saying that you could capture him inevitably, but you could hold him down in order for the persons to evacuate. Because then to evacuate from the path where Gigantamakia is going to pass through to head to Shigaraki. So yeah, and the rest of the villains would go and try to protect Shigaraki for the time being until Gigantamakia gets there, and then actually save Shigaraki. That could be one thing that Best Jeanist is doing. And he wanted to stay undercover for probably a couple months. I believe he wanted to stay undercover for a couple months and then go out into the fight again. That's Best Jeanist, guys. So like remember that one of our favorite heroes, one of our main cast, Kachan. he would want to actually tell Best Jeanist himself his hero name first. So it could be ironic if he went to the battlefield and Kachan was there, gravely injured there, and then he returns out of fighting, and then Kachan actually tells him his hero name right then and there. It'll make for a touching moment. Yeah, guys, so basically let's get into the rest of the chapter now. We see Froppy this chapter as well. Like Froppy, she's evacuating persons. We see all the heroes that we weren't seeing for such a long time, you know, all the heroes that we weren't seeing for a long time. We get to see them right now, and they're helping evacuating the injured, helping deal with all the destruction that the villains caused. Now over to the villains. Like where we get off, we see that Toga Spinner was there with Mr. Compress. They were telling Toga to actually come back safely, come back unharmed, and you see Toga smiling, looking back at them like they know what she's gonna do. They know what the plan that she has. She really wants to talk to Uraraka or Deku or so, and she's gonna go over to Deku after this as well too. I don't know how well or how bad that is gonna go, but let's see, you know. Alright, so we see Uraraka now. We flash over and we see Uraraka. Uraraka is helping person, and she's walking, like she's by herself walking, and then she hears a scream down the alleyway. So she runs towards that scream down the alleyway. She hears a scream from an old woman, and she runs down that alleyway to try to help, you know, heroes rush towards screams. So Uraraka went down there, and then out of nowhere we see Toga jump. And Uraraka is surprised, just as surprised as we were. Like, we saw Toga jump, and then Uraraka says, "What? Toga?" Like, we don't actually see the words, but it's like she says, "Oh, Toga," and then Toga sees her quickly, looks around quickly, like a quick baku. And then she runs inside the building, and Uraraka rushes to follow her because she's a known villain. So Uraraka runs to follow her, runs to try to capture her. Uraraka runs inside the building to try to see what she can actually do right now to stop Toga. When she runs inside that building, of course, yeah, she's unarmed. She has her quirk and so, but she's unarmed. Toga is inside there, and like Uraraka, when she actually goes in there, Toga actually starts talking to Uraraka really, and they're talking and talking. They're having some form of dialogue. So now, when they're actually talking like that, we see Toga actually rush towards Uraraka, charge towards Uraraka with her knives, like, with her syringe like things, and her knives that she has. So what she does, she runs towards Uraraka and she tries to stab her. So Uraraka grabs her hand with her hands. She grabs her hand, like, we're not see Uraraka is not that weak shonen type woman like we see from Sakura, from Naruto itself back then, you know, or Lucy or so. Like, each one of them have their moments, you know, but Uraraka, she's been able to hold her own right from the get-go. But anyway, guys, after she catches her arm, like, we see Toga and Uraraka start talking. They're talking about heroes, and like if the heroes actually see villains as humans, you know, because Mr. Comfort, like Twice has just recently died. He just recently died, and Toga is like, she's in that stage of grief where she's wondering why did I have to kill him, you know. She wanted to know the answer. Do they see villains as humans? Because the heroes are sworn to protect people. So did they not see Twice as a person? Did they not see any of the villains as persons? She wants to know. You know, guys, yeah. So before that though, we see Gigantomachia actually rampaging. Rocklock is seeing them, and you know that Rocklock was over where the battlefield was. So Rocklock sees Gigantomachia rampaging and causing so much destruction. So he's not asleep yet, and Rocklock is actually seeing him. So that is really so that means probably more than likely next chapter we're gonna see where Gigantomachia actually goes towards Shigaraki, goes towards where the battle was, and try and probably save Shigaraki or so on. And I think we're gonna see Toga over there too. But anyway, let's get back to where we were. Like, she was so hurt after Twice's death, like she had to ask the questions to Uraraka and Deku. So we get a flashback this time to see Uraraka talking to Aizawa on a plane. Like, I don't know exactly what he was saying to her, but he was like probably teaching her some principles, and those principles she got to pass on here in this chapter. So what we see Uraraka actually do is shout something at Toga, like she shouts the answer back to Toga and tells her exactly how she feels and tells her the answer to her question. Are villains humans or not? Why did they have to kill Twice? Uraraka got her answer, and when she got her answer, she was taken aback. She was visibly stopped. Her face was like paralyzed, and she was thinking about it. And that was basically where the chapter ended. Uraraka got into Toga's head, like she really told her the truth and convinced her of something. She let her know something so surprising that Toga had to stop. I remember they were in a struggle, fighting with each other. like Togo was trying to stab her and asking her the question at the same time, and Uraraka sternly gave her the answer. You know, guys, that's where she actually that's where she actually stopped what she was doing. Like with Twice's death, it was so dramatic and so it left a scar on most of the villains. It left a scar on her most of all. Like she was really seriously hurt from all of that took place with Twice. She had to basically deal with it and deal with it quickly, guys. Thank you so much for listening. Remember to like, subscribe. Thank you so much for tuning in. Remember to leave a comment below. Thank you. This is Lemillion Nation signing out. Oh, and stay tuned. Remember to actually like my other videos that are coming out of the reviews.